The strongest Pokémon of every type in the ATR, or Ash Team's redone. There is one key rule, however. A Pokémon will only count for one type. Take Ivysaur, for example. While it is a grass and poison type, it is most commonly associated with the grass type because it's the grass type starter, so it would only count for grass. Speaking of the grass type, let's get into nominations. Starting off, we have three main choices: Ash's Tangela, Green's Ivysaur, and lastly, Erica's Vileplume. First off, Ash's Tangela has to be last, because it's lost to both of these other Pokemon. And between Vileplume and Ivysaur, even though both Pokemon did beat Tangela, Vileplume only did it with the help of two other Pokemon. Meanwhile, Ivysaur did it on its own. Therefore, I think it's safe to say that Ivysaur is stronger, especially because Erica's Vileplume lost to Ash's Psyduck. Speaking of the water type, there's a lot of options. Starting off, like we discussed before, Ash's Psyduck is incredibly impressive, beating a fully evolved grass-type Pokemon in Vileplume. The other contenders are Misty Starmie, Gary's Wartortle, and the wild Gyarados. Immediately, Misty gets out, because while she is the only water-type specialist here, she just doesn't have enough power. Next out is Ash's Psyduck, because we can't have the best water type being unable to swim. Between Gyarados and Wartortle, I have to give the win to Gyarados, as we simply haven't seen enough from Gary to make it worth it being. To finish off the starter types, we have the fire type. The options we have are Ash's Ninetales and Green's Growlithe. While most people would probably think the fully evolved Pokemon was stronger, it is actually Growlithe who is the strongest. With a single Fire Blast, Growlithe was able to one-shot a muck that was terrorizing Cerulean City. To do some quick types, Dragon, Ice, Dark and Steel are not represented at all. Ghost has only one option in Agatha's Gengar. Fairy technically has more, but it's one of the wild Clefable we see in Mount Moon. For the Psychic type, it's Gary's Abra, as unlike Matori's, it battles. Similar thing with Rock. Yeah, there are multiple, but the main contenders, Brock, Sonics and Geodude, but obviously the Ace is stronger, other than it having a worse win rate and all. So, Onix wins. Flying is interesting as well. In Gen 1, there is no Pokemon that has a primary flying type, so I've decided this is where Ho-Oh comes in. Call it boring. I'd rather have Ho-Oh come for a boring type than an interesting type, such as the Fire type. Next up is Ground, where the competition is fair. We have Ash's Cubone, who hasn't had much development, compared to Giselle Sandshrew. Now, while Giselle Sandshrew does have a 0% win rate, we do have to consider these were for growth purposes, and Ash's Cubone has never had an official battle. While Sandshrews' best feat is having a good battle against AJ's Machoke, Cubone was wanted by Team Rocket. If a Pokemon is wanted by the Mafia, I'm willing to argue it's a good Pokemon. So, normal. The pick is quite basic. It's just the Snorlax that enslaved a bunch of Beedrill. It one-shot Brock Sonics, but yeah. So you know how good that Snorlax was? Well, what do you think the Pokemon that beat it is? That's why for Bug, it's Ash's Beedrill. I mean, who else could it be? AJ's Butterfree. For the Poison type, it's a bit hard, because most Poison types would rather go for another type. But that's why the Muck who terrorized Cerulean City is the strongest. I mean, who is competing against it? James is coughing? Penultimately, it's the Electric type, with the contenders being Ash's Pikachu, Surge's Raichu, and Electabuzz. Immediately, Raichu gets out, due to losing to Ash's Pikachu. Between Electabuzz and Pikachu, it's hard, as Electabuzz won a battle against a past version of Brock's Onix. While Ash's Pikachu does have a few good feats, such as beating Surge's Raichu. And because we don't really see Electabuzz pushed to its limits, I don't think it's fair to put it at the number one spot. Therefore, Pikachu is the strongest electric type in the ATR. For the final type, we have Fighting. I don't know why I made this the order, to be honest, but we'll go with it. Fighting type, no pun intended, is an incredibly competitive type. The major battle is between Green's Mankey and AJ's Machoke. While Green is the strongest trainer character we've seen so far, Machoke is AJ's ace. So who wins? Well, let's look at the facts. AJ and his Machoke's only on-screen battle was against Giselle Sandrew, where he was able to win. While for Green and her Mankey, she destroyed Ash's Pikachu. Because of how close Sandrew vs Machoke is, I think it was only logical to give the win to Mankey, as he beat the Pokemon that beat Sandrew. And that's all. Comment below any takes you disagree with in the comments below. As with some types, I think there are some arguments to be made, especially with the fighting type. Also, for those who have seen my community post, What If Ash Started with Charmander is looking to be 19 minutes and 45 seconds. So, you're in for a treat.